The 12th Amendment by Mac D. and Tyler C., ratified on June 15, 1804. The 12th Amendment states that each elector will have one vote for president and vice president. The electors shall meet in their own states and vote by ballot for president and vice president. One of them, at least, will not be in the state from where you live. You will state in your ballot the person voted for as president, and in distinct ballots the person voted for as vice president. And you will make distinct lists of all persons voted for as president, and of all persons voted for as vice president, and the number of votes for each.
Before the amendment, there would be many people running for president. Every citizen would have 2 votes. You had to vote for 2 different people. The person with the most votes would become president. The person with the second most votes would become vice president. With this system of election, there were many problems. Sometimes there would be ties, and then they would have to repeat the process all over again. Other times, the president and vice president would be from different political parties.
During the election of 1796, John Adams, the candidate for the Federalist Party, got the majority of electoral votes, but his Federalist electors had many different second votes, making Thomas Jefferson, the candidate for the Democratic Republican Party, the vice president.
After serving as an officer in the Continental Army, Aaron Burr became a successful lawyer and politician. He was elected to the New York State Assembly twice, and then appointed New York State Attorney General. Then, after that, he was chosen as a United States Senator. Finally, he became the 3rd Vice President after a very long election that had over 15 ties. This election was the cause for the 12th Amendment.
Besides being a founding father of America, Thomas Jefferson also wrote the Declaration of Independence and was the United States Minister to France. Then after, he was a candidate for President of the United States. After tying the candidate for Vice President 20 times, he finally won and became President of the United States.
In the election of 1800, the Electoral College broke down because of defects in the Constitution. Because the system still had no separate votes for President and Vice President, Thomas Jefferson, Republican presidential candidate, and Aaron Burr, Republican vice presidential candidate, tied for president with 73 votes.
This result sent the election to the House of Representatives, where each state had 1 vote. Then they had to choose between Burr and Jefferson. Burr disclaimed any intention to run for presidency, but didn't want to withdraw, which kept the election going. The delegation split evenly, causing the election to go on. After more than 19 tie ballots, Vermont and Maryland, 2 tied states, elected Jefferson. The reason the 12th Amendment was created was to prevent anything like this from ever happening again, as it is very confusing.
The 12th Amendment changed the process in which the president and vice president are elected. It did not change any part of the Electoral College. Under the 12th Amendment, each person cast a vote for a president and a vice president, instead of 2 votes for separate presidents. An elector could not choose a president and vice president from their state. At least one had to be out of state.
Selecting the vice president was an easier process. The candidate who received the greatest number of votes besides one elected president became vice president. The vice president, unlike the president, did not need the majority of votes from electors. If there was a tie for second place between 2 or more candidates, the Senate would pick one. Each senator would have 1 vote. Now there was a separate vote for vice president. Once again, this project was made by Mac Durfee and Tyler Clevenger. The end.